So, artificial intelligence, it's not some far off sci fi thing anymore, is it? It is here and it is changing everything. But this isn't just going to be another explainer about the tech. We're going to dig into the human side of this huge shift, what it's doing to our jobs, our sense of who we are, and yeah, even our sense of worth. Okay, let's get into it.
Listen to this. This comes from a 49-year-old operations manager whose job got automated by AI. It is just a gut punch of a statement, and it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, this isn't just about losing a paycheck. Psychologists have a term for it, occupational identity loss. It's this deep, personal feeling of being erased.
I mean, really think about that for a second. How many times have you met someone new and the first question is, so, what do you do? Our jobs become this shorthand for who we are. They give us a routine, a community, a purpose. And when that gets ripped away by something as cold and impersonal as an algorithm, well, you're left staring at this incredibly tough question.
And while we're all wrestling with this on a personal level, society is scrambling to react. You see it everywhere. From the White House to all the big universities, there's this massive push for AI literacy. It's basically a giant flashing sign that says, this is a really big deal, and the race to adapt is officially on.
You know, this isn't some niche concern for Silicon Valley execs or politicians. This is a real public anxiety. I saw this comment on Reddit, and man, it just perfectly captures what so many people are feeling. It's moved beyond, am I going to lose my job, to what's going to happen to all of us. And that's really the key here. We've got to flip the script on how we see this. To get through the age of AI, we have to stop looking at it as a story about cool new machines. We have to start seeing it for what it is, the next chapter in our own human story. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we got to pull the camera back, way back. Because what's happening isn't just a new tool like the internet was. It's something much, much bigger. This quote from Professor Martin Hilbert is, well, it's staggering when you let it sink in. For literally all of human history, we were the only game in town when it came to knowledge and intelligence. That was our thing. And now, that's not exclusively ours anymore. This is a change on a species level, and that's why it feels so massive. Professor Hilbert actually has a name for this whole shift. It's algorithmification. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but stick with me, because this idea is absolutely key to understanding everything. Let's break this down. Think about what we've been through already. Digitization. That was about taking physical information, like books, and turning it into digital files. It was about organizing stuff. But algorithmification, that's a whole different ballgame. It's not just reorganizing the information, it's automating the process of creating knowledge itself. That's why AI can now do things we thought were safe, like writing code, drafting legal docs, or even creating. So what does this huge tectonic shift actually look like on the ground, for our jobs? Let's get into the numbers and see who's really being affected. 300 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's almost too big to even imagine, but that's the projection from a Goldman Sachs report on how many full-time jobs could be automated by generative AI. And we're not talking about some far-off future here. This is happening right now. But here's the thing. It's not hitting every job the same way. Look at the vulnerable jobs on the left. You see a pattern, right? It's tasks that are repetitive, based on rules, or involve crunching massive amounts of data. Now look to the right, at the resilient jobs. What's the common thread there? It's all about human connection, complex physical work, and making tough judgment calls in unpredictable situations. Think therapists, plumbers, firefighters. These are roles that need a human in the room. So when you're faced with all of this disruption, the gut reaction is to just say, okay, I need to learn how to use this new AI tool. But the real solution is so much bigger than that. What we actually need is a completely new kind of literacy.
Right. This is the absolute heart of it. Being AI literate isn't about becoming the world's greatest prompt engineer. In fact, that skill is already becoming less important as the AI gets better at understanding us. The real lasting skill is learning how to think about AI, to understand its strengths, its major weaknesses, its hidden biases, and its huge societal impact.
So, researchers have actually mapped this out. They've given us 4 essential pillars. Now, of course, you got to understand the basics. What AI is and how to use it. That's pillars 1 and 2. But where the real mastery comes in is with pillars 3 and 4. This is where you learn to be critical and responsible, and where you analyze the big picture societal impact. These are the skills that really matter for the long haul. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Along the bottom, you've got your technical skills, and going up the side, you have your social and critical understanding. You can see that to go from just being a casual user to a true expert, you have to grow in both directions. You simply can't have one without the other. So why are those last two pillars so critical? Because AI is not a neutral tool like a hammer. It's what experts call a socio-technical system. That's a fancy term that just means its technical design has direct, real-world social consequences. True literacy means knowing when using AI is actually the wrong choice. It's about being a responsible citizen in this new world, not just a skilled operator.
Okay, so we've talked about the massive scale of this change and this new kind of literacy we all need to build. Now let's bring it right back down to you. As an individual, how do you actually navigate this?
All right, here's a practical plan, and it's grounded in psychology. First step, pause. Don't panic. It's okay to feel fear or grief about this. You have to acknowledge those feelings to build resilience. Second, update your internal map of your skills. Ask yourself, what do I do that is uniquely human? Third, invest in those skills. And finally, if you need to, start pivoting toward those AI-resilient roles, the ones where your humanity is your single greatest asset.
So what are these so-called future-proof skills? Well, the World Economic Forum has identified some of the keys. And what's so fascinating is that while tech literacy is on the list, of course it is, look at what surrounds it. Creativity, emotional intelligence, leadership, curiosity. These are the skills that AI really struggles with. These are the things that allow us to complement AI rather than just compete with it. And all of this brings us to the most important takeaway of all. The way we choose to frame this challenge completely changes how we respond to it.
This is the final, crucial point. This is not about trying to be a faster calculator or a better data processor than a machine. That is a losing game, my friends. The real goal is to double down on what makes us human: our empathy, our creativity, our moral judgment, and our ability to connect with each other.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. It's not about what tasks you do or what your job title is. In an age of intelligent machines, the most important thing you can know is what, deep down, makes you uniquely, irreplaceably human. Because that is your true value. And that's something no algorithm can ever take away.